everybody, and welcome back to Across the Line. Welcome to our Australian Grand Prix predictions. Once again, you are joined with myself, Tom, and I am joined today with a very hungover, tired Zach.
Bleh.
So, Zach, we're filming this a little bit later because we don't know time zone differences. So, we're not going into this as blind as what we usually do, but we have at least the same questions. So, I will ask you, pole position for the race, who have you got down?
Max Verstappen.
You've put down Max Verstappen.
I've put down Max.
Safe
I know
choice.
it is. I know we've seen a bit of free practice, but I just keep. I feel like it's going to be that way for a lot of the season.
Yeah, no. Whilst I agree with you that it's most likely going to be Max, I haven't actually put Max. I have put down Charles Leclerc. I've seen the free practice. I have been somewhat swayed. Maybe I'm just, going along with the hype. Charles on pole. Let's see if miracles can happen.
So just on that, you're basing that on the fact that Charles had a really good free practice too.
Yeah.
So just considering free practice 1, do you think Lando's going to have a really good race?
Yeah, Lando's going to be up there 100%.
Yeah.
He might even win, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool.
So, speaking of winners, let's go from our pole position to our podium winners. So, starting with third place, who have you got on the bottom step of the podium?
Carlos Sainz.
Nice. Very nice.
Who have you got?
So, I've gone for Perez. Again, not trying to build off too much of the hype.
I reckon I can guess your P2, and I think it's probably the same as mine. I've gone with Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, no, it's... whilst I think he might get pole, I don't think that race pace is there just yet. I did see a tweet from someone saying that Red Bull have the 4th fastest car on race pace, and there's no way you can say that Red Bull are going to be 4th fastest. The car's a machine. So I think there's more of a chance of someone else getting pole, winning the race, not so much. Charles P2 and winner. I'm guessing you've put the same as me.
Max Verstappen.
Alex Albon. Oh, no, sorry, Max Verstappen, yes.
I mean, it goes hand in hand, doesn't it, with the Charles Leclerc pole, Max Verstappen race winner. So similarly, just touching on, you've gone obviously Checo 3rd,
yes,
which is a drop from where he's finished the previous races.
Mm-hmm.
I've not got Checo on the podium, and I don't have a whole lot of explanation.
Of course,
I just feel like the Ferraris. Maybe I'm getting a little bit swept up in the free practice, but I just think that the Ferraris will have a good weekend, and I think Checo's little bubble of form might just burst.
Ooh, that's a nice phrase. That's good. Put that in the title of the podcast or thumbnail. Okay, so you've put 2 Ferrari drivers on the podium. Mm-hmm. Your biggest winner of the weekend. Is it team? Is it driver?
I've gone driver.
Okay.
And I've gone. I think it'll definitely not happen. Daniel Ricciardo.
Nice.
Home race.
Yeah.
And I've got that he scores at least a point.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think that would be winner of the weekend. It would be a big thing for him to score even a single point in Australia based on how that car's been. Just fancy Australia to throw up maybe a few DNFs, things. So it gives those teams that sit in just below the midfield
a few DNFs.
A chance.
Okay. I'm curious to know how many you've got a little bit later on. I, however, have gone for a team, and it's a biggest winner that I gave to on the first weekend of the season. I've gone down for Ferrari. I have seen or read that they have supposedly sort of got the tyre temps under control a little bit more now with that car, which means they're able to push a bit more, go a little bit harder. So I'm hoping it's going to be a strong weekend for the Ferraris. It'd be wonderful to have, 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls actually competing for those top spots. I don't know if it's going to be likely, but I would love to see Ferrari up there, just someone challenging, like actually challenging Red Bull. So I think Ferrari are going to be the biggest winners of this weekend, especially with Carlos coming back from his, appendicitis.
Appendicitis.
So I think Carlos is going to have a little bit to prove. He wants to show everyone, look, I'm made out of steel, iron, whatever. So he's going to have hopefully a good weekend, which, set him up nicely on the grid. Possibly even him could get a podium.
I almost put Ferrari down as the winner. I mean, just on the fact that I put him as double podium, I just think that the one thing that would trump that would be Daniel to get scoring points.
No, I agree with you on that. If that happens, I would have no arguments. Biggest loser. What have we gone for?
So the easy one would be Logan, but because that's already happened, I felt a bit cheap, so I've gone with Kick Sauber.
What? No.
They've done arguably worse than Alpine in terms of races. The two pit stops, race 1 and 2, one for Bottas, one for Zhou, which were comically bad. They finished back of both cars at the back. Obviously, Alpine had a DNF in Jeddah, but still, I feel, and I've touched on it already about DNFs.
Yeah,
I have a feeling they might be due one.
I can't disagree with that, but I will counter it with Zhou did get 11th in Bahrain, which is higher than what the Alpines have managed to score so far.
Fair enough. Both
of those races, but I'm not trying to justify Alpine too much, even though I have put them down as my biggest loser. It's Max Pole, Alpine biggest loser. It's sort of like, hand in hand predictability in the sport.
Yeah, I claimed my point for it last week. It's now your turn to claim your 3 point.
It's sort of a given, but you never know. They didn't do too bad around here last year until they came together on the third red flag.
I was about to say, if they just simply finish the race, is that not an improvement on last year?
Yes, it is. So there we go. They've got a low bar. All they've got to do is just finish. That's all they've got to do. But you never know. Maybe there could be some drama within the team. And speaking of drama, news stories, I'm going to slightly tweak it this week because we have seen a little bit more than what we usually would. We would usually go into these weekends blind. Alex Albon crashed in free practice 1, damaged the chassis of the car. And as a result, he's still going to be racing, but in Logan's car. And as a result of that, Logan has been told to sit on the sideline and just watch the Grand Prix. So I've put down, biggest story of the weekend is Alex taking Logan's seat. So the question I ask you is, will there be a bigger news story than this? Yes or no?
I've fully Hail Married this. I've just thrown something out.
Okay.
With zero build up, anything like that. I just think it's going to happen at some point. So I'm just, because if I get this, then it's just like, oof. I've gone George and Lando to collide.
Ooh.
Just the two British, because they're obviously friends, British drivers. I just think they'll be close together in this race. I think they'll be near each other. And I don't know. It'd be an interesting story if two British drivers who came up the ranks together.
If that happens, I would not argue that you would get your points for that prediction. That is a good prediction.
It's a rogue one because there's not like any history. There's no nothing. It's Australia. Maybe I don't think it'd be on purpose. I just think that there might be.
Turn 1 is quite tight. There are usually a few incidents at that corner. That could be spicy. I quite like that. I'm going to stick with Logan and Alex taking his seat. I think that's going to be the biggest news story of the weekend. However, I would happily be proven wrong by a little bit of drama between some of the Brits. But if Russell and Norris were to crash into each other, collide, take each other out, that would mean there would be some DNFs and some safety cars. So, how many DNFs do you think will happen at Albert Park this weekend, Zach?
We've overshot it every time, have we?
I swear to God, if you go for the same as me again.
We've overshot it every time. But
so you've said 3 in Bahrain, and you said 3 last weekend. I said 2 in Bahrain and 3 last weekend.
Okay, so it's now going to be 3, but I'm going with 4. I'm going with 4 DNFs. I think there's going to be a collision.
Double it and give it to the next person. 4 people.
Yep.
Mad. If that is 4, if that's
does it count as 1 already? Does it count as 1? There's
Oh
going to
yeah,
be
that's
19
true.
drivers.
No, that I don't
don't
think
think that
technically counts as
counts.
DNF because they don't
Yeah.
actually enter. So, flipping it, you're
DNS
saying
did not
15
start.
people are going to finish this race. I mean,
Yeah, all of my predictions have led this way. I've got Daniel in the point, so it means that some of the cars above
You
have
want
to go
chaos
out.
this weekend.
I've got Lando and George colliding, so I need
it
in order for the
manifested something.
things.
I like this.
Maybe the reason Perez isn't on my podium is he was involved somewhere.
He goes bowling. Mhm.
Yeah, all of my predictions are leading towards a slightly chaotic race, which we obviously got last year. I'm just kind of hoping, not to that same level, but we might get a little bit of spice.
So I've said 2 DNFs. I reckon there's going to be 2. I don't know. I think it's going to be quite a boring race. I don't know. This season's gone off not to the best starts. So I want drama. I want chaos. So I'm going 2 DNFs. And I reckon that there will be a safety car as well. So you're saying yes, safety car. Nice. Okay. So that pretty much sums up our predictions for the Australian Grand Prix. Anything else do you want to add to this episode, Zach? Or do you just want to go to bed and order probably a McDonald's to help cure your hangover?
I just said to... Yeah, I was going to order a McDonald's straight after this, as soon as this was finished. Show. Don't drink alcohol. Let's hope for a good race.
Yeah, let's hope for a good race. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching or listening, everybody. Make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, go and have a drink with the bell, do some shots with the bell.
Don't listen to him.
Do tequila with the bell.
No.
Yeah, so there we go. Thank you very much for listening and or watching, everybody. We will speak to you next week with our race review for the Australian Grand Prix. But until then, goodbye.